So I was scrolling on Pinterest the other day when I stumbled upon the most beautiful and gorgeous eclair drawing. I mean, it looks better than a real life eclair. That's when I find myself in an endless loophole of Pinterest food illustrations. There's sweet, there's savory, there's beverages. I mean, just look at these drawings. And then it hit me, all I do is baking. Why can't I turn one of these into real life? I started saving a bunch of these dessert drawings, and then I thought I'm going to choose just four and then let you guys decide which one I should turn into real life. So come with me as I turn a Pinterest drawing into real life. Here are the four illustrations that I chose. They are a bit on the simpler side because I wanted to start off with something simple. I asked you guys on my Instagram story which one you wanted me to recreate, and to my surprise, number four was the most voted. And if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, make sure to follow me so that next time I do this, you can participate in the voting as well. The first thing that I did was plan out what I'm going to do, and when I first looked at the picture, what I see is a tiramisu in a cup, so we're making tiramisu cups. I've actually wanted to make this for so long, so this is perfect. And don't judge my drawing skills. I know they're very, very, very amazing. Like, I am so talented, yes. Anyways, back to the topic. Let's start making this dessert. Now, the full written recipe for this will be available on my blog, and you can find a link to that in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make the coffee for soaking the ladyfingers because you cannot make tiramisu without coffee. I'm combining a cup of hot water with some instant coffee, and I also like to add a bit of granulated sugar so that the ladyfingers aren't too bitter. You can skip this if you'd like. Give this a mix, and now I'm going to set that aside to cool completely. Now, in a separate large bowl, we're going to make the tiramisu filling. Into the bowl, add in some cold heavy cream. Make sure your cream has a fat percentage of 35% or higher. Now I'm going to use an electric hand mixer. You can also do this with a stand mixer or even a whisk. Just know that it's going to take a bit longer. Beat the heavy cream on medium-high speed while adding the powdered sugar in about 2 batches until soft peaks form. This process takes about 4 to 5 minutes. Now for this tiramisu cups recipe, I'm going to be using cream cheese instead of mascarpone cheese. I did the same with my tiramisu recipe, the regular one. This is because cream cheese is much cheaper and much easier to find than mascarpone cheese. But if you have mascarpone, then you can definitely use that instead. You'll need the same exact amount. Once the cream has reached stiff peaks, I'm going to add in 1 cup of room temperature or softened cream cheese, and then some vanilla extract. Make sure your cream cheese is at room temperature. This is going to prevent the mixture from having lots of lumps. Give that a mix until everything is fully incorporated. Honestly, I could eat this mixture as is, but adding those coffee dip ladyfingers just makes it even better, so let's keep going. Make sure not to waste any of that cream cheese mixture. It is so good, you could just lick it off the attachments. Now, this mixture is ready. We're going to move on to the next step, which is assembling. As you can see here, I did transfer this mixture into a large piping bag, but I realized later that it's actually much easier to use a spoon to assemble the tiramisu. This is because the mixture is a bit runny, which makes it difficult to handle in the piping bag. Now, when it comes to the glass, the picture or the illustration does have a more triangular glass, but this is the closest thing that I have, so that's what I'm going to be using. Now, let's get all of our components and get ready to put this together. I have here store-bought ladyfingers. You can also use homemade ones, but I like to use them store-bought because it makes it so much easier. We're going to start with a layer of the tiramisu filling first because that's what it has in the picture. Usually I would think let's add the ladyfingers first, but since the picture has a layer of cream first, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be making 3 cups here on camera because the picture does have 3 cups, but this recipe makes about 6 to 7 cups in total. Now I'm going to add a layer of the dipped ladyfingers. Break the ladyfingers so that it will fit into the cup. I was doing this initially with some tweezers, then I realized that it's much easier to just use your fingers, so that's what I'm doing now. When you're dipping the ladyfingers, you have to be very quick. Dip it really quickly on both sides and take it out. They tend to become so soft very quickly. Repeat this process and fill all of your cups. By the way, if you love no-bake desserts that are layered like this, then you have to try my classic no-bake banana pudding. I will leave a link to that in the description box below. It's made with layers of deliciousness just like this, and it is so good. Next, I'm going to add a layer of cocoa powder on top of the dipped ladyfingers. You don't have to do this, it's just going to help that brown layer stick out a bit more. And then you're going to repeat the exact same process with another layer of the cream cheese mixture and then another layer of the dipped ladyfingers. I also dust some cocoa powder on this layer as well, and then we're going to add on the final layer of the cream cheese filling. So for the last layer, you could either bring this mixture all the way to the top of your glass, but in the picture, it's not like that. It's a little bit underneath, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it a little bit underneath the edge of the glass. Now we're going to refrigerate this for 1 to 4 hours. In the meantime, we gotta clean this up. Now I learned this the hard way. When you're dusting cocoa powder, do not do it directly on your table or counter. It was so hard to get off, the entire table was shaking. I got it off eventually, but next time I'm going to make sure to use a parchment paper underneath. For the garnish in the picture, they do have blueberries and raspberries and some mint. I could not find fresh blueberries anywhere, so I used frozen blueberries. As for the raspberries, I couldn't even find frozen raspberries, so we're going to stick with strawberries to give us that pop of red. And here's all my garnish ready to go. Of course, I had some mint, so let's finish this tiramisu cups. And as you can see here, I'm learning from my mistakes and using a piece of parchment paper for the dusting of cocoa powder on top. I'm going to bring my cups out of the fridge and we're going to dust this generously with cocoa powder all over the top. I use Dutch processed cocoa powder because I love the color. It's just so much darker and richer, but of course you can use regular cocoa powder as well. And then after that, I just arranged on the toppings 2 blueberries, 2 slices of strawberries, and some mint. As you can see, the cleanup was so much easier with that piece of parchment paper. After I assembled everything, I took some pictures, and here is the final result. I think I did a pretty good job, although I do see some room for improvements. But anyways, let me know how I did in the comment section below. One thing that I definitely could have done different was make the ladyfinger layers a little bit thicker so that they were more visible like in the drawing. But other than that, I think they're not too shabby. Let's try this because I've been waiting so long for these. As you can see, the layers look so good, the cream looks silky smooth, and everything is just perfect. Let me tell you guys that this dessert is the best. Like, no one can tell me otherwise. Tiramisu is one of the best desserts out there. It is not too sweet, it has the perfect balance of flavors, and I love that little bit of tanginess that the cream cheese brings to this recipe. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe for more easy and delicious recipes just like this one. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below if you tried it, how I did, or anything else. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you want me to do more videos of recreating Pinterest illustrations just like this, and I will see you next time.